Hello, nice to meet you. My name is Sarita Ardila. I am 25 years old and live in Bogota, Colombia. I lived for 7 years in the US, 4 years in Indiana, 3 years in Texas, in Houston, Texas, where I completed my education. A little bit about me. I am an athlete. I've always been an athlete. I play squash. I used to play soccer in college. That's how I ended up in the US. Prior to that, I played basketball and volleyball. So all that athletic journey led me to become a sport and performance psychology nowadays. So I currently do work with a club called Sierra FC here in Bogota, and I work independently with athletes, with clubs, um, and with different settings as well, not only sports. But in terms of my life project, I'm still kind of figuring out. I'm still figuring out what I want to do, what who I want to become. I do know that I want to continue doing uh what I got educated to do, right? I want to continue to be involved within the sport and performance psych world. Maybe continue my education down the road. However, while I figure that out and while I grow within that field, I wanted to kind of still be involved and work in things that I like. And I think being a mentor, being a teacher, being a coach, I don't consider myself too much of a teacher, but more of a coach. And doing that while I continue to figure out my life project, that would be great for me, right? Not because I want to earn money, right? Of course I want to earn money, but mostly because I want to use other parts of me in different settings while also meeting people, right? While also growing culturally, and being more available at the service of others, right? So obviously English is a big part of people's lives when they grow professionally and personally. And I do believe in the fact that, someone can learn a language naturally. Now, I did grow up with a traditional education, um, I guess, strategy, right? I did grow up in a classroom with a teacher in front of me, learning grammatical rules that I honestly don't remember all of them right now, but I became good at speaking English and expressing myself and fluent, being involved in the culture, being involved in a soccer team where all my teammates just taught me all the colloquial ways of saying things and the natural ways of saying things, right? So literally just by meeting people, by being involved in the setting, right? In a native speaking, English native speaking setting, right? And literally exposing myself to others, right? Being vulnerable with others, being like, I don't know how to say this, right? Like toe socks. One time I was explaining something about toe socks, and I was like, listen, I don't know how they're called, but it's like gloves, but for your feet, and so on. And so it's just a matter of like just losing your fear to mess up and just converse and try to explain as best as you can. And then as you start learning that vocabulary, you start remembering more and more because of that experience. So that's how I believe you can learn another language very naturally, because your life experiences teach you more than you sitting down watching someone talk, right? So um I am very excited to be doing this video, and I'm very excited to be introducing myself to you, and I hope you consider me to be a mentor. Nice to meet you and have a wonderful day.